Co-ops are not real property. Co-ops are a corporation of which there are many shareholders. When you buy into a corporation or into a co-op, you are not buying an apartment. You are buying shares of a corporation. And in turn, as a result of buying your shares, you are getting the right to occupy a particular apartment for which those shares are assigned. So you are a shareholder, much like if you went on and bought stock on the stock market, but at the same time, you are now establishing a landlord-tenant relationship with the corporation of which you are a shareholder. So you wear two hats here. While the stock and lease cannot be severed, in other words, you can't sell the stock to someone and the lease to someone else, you can be a shareholder and you get a proprietary lease, which is the right to occupy that particular apartment, and sets forth all of the rules, much like if you were in a rental building and signed a lease agreement. And it gives you all the ins and outs of what you can and cannot do, what you're responsible for, what the corporation's responsible for, and all the rules governing the use of that apartment. But it's also important to note that while you might be a shareholder, the right to occupy that apartment can be taken away if you do not follow the rules of the lease separately. So sorry, I should go back. Your corporate documents for co-ops are your stock certificate, your proprietary lease, and the governing documents of the building are an offering plan, which applies to both co-op and condo, lays out the details of the building at the time that it was constructed or converted from a rental, and then your bylaws and house rules. Proprietary leases and bylaws need to be voted on by shareholders. There's usually a certain percentage if you want to change the terms of those documents. House rules are typically changed by the board because they're an ever-evolving document, and so you don't want to have to call, a full annual meeting to vote on house rules as things sort of evolve. COVID was a perfect example where we would start putting in COVID regulations in the building. You weren't going to call the entire building in the middle of a pandemic to come vote to hopefully get, 75% or 66%. So house rules are a board decision. Condominiums, by contrast, are real property. So when you buy a condominium apartment, it's like buying a house. It's just that your house is in a bigger building with other little houses inside. You get a deed, and you also get the right to a certain percentage of common interest, which affect the shared spaces of the building, the corridors, the lobby, the elevator shafts, roof, that kind of stuff. So condominiums also have an offering plan. They have a declaration which sets forth the guts of the condominium. It will discern what portions of the apartment are yours and what is a common element. It will also go into the responsibilities of the condominium versus the unit owner and the corporate governance of the building itself. And then you'll have bylaws as well, much like the co-op goes into, the board, how you operate, how you vote, your meetings, etc.